Hey, here we are. I am so excited to have a special guest today, aren't you guys?
I am.
One
of our
so
favorite.
excited.
When's the last time you've seen our guest?
In person, it's been probably about 10 years, at least.
Yeah.
Nick?
Yeah. Definitely sooner than 10 years, but still been a long time.
Like at a
But
reunion?
I think the reunion was the last time we saw each other, but Mr. George Anthony Bell is with us.
In the house.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. You said he was going to be wearing a hat that looks just like
I
yours.
told you. I was like, watch this. We're going to be wearing the same hat.
It's
Called it.
freaking identical. The hat is identical.
I'm trying to get his style. I'm trying to get that swag.
You
going.
also, both of you look exactly the same as when you guys were on the show.
No, I think
Stop it.
I think he's held up better
Really?
than me, but it's okay.
Guys, I know this to be true because on my YouTube channel, I begged him to come out to Orange County. We got him out there, and we literally recreated the musical We Went to the Moon song in my living room at the time.
Wow.
This was just before quarantine and everything, but it was unbelievable, and it was so fun. We did the exact same choreography and everything, and if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna have to make you guys watch it.
Wow.
But we legitimately recreated it with like a real production crew and everything. And it was wild, wasn't it?
There was so much. I even wore the tie that I wore from the original show.
That's right.
What?
Guys, you
Wait.
haven't seen this? It's insane.
Did you have to buy that from the Disney prop room at the end of the series as well?
No, that's probably
Yeah. I bought all my ties because I only had, I think, 2 suits. But I must have gotten about 20, 25 ties, but they gave me a really good deal. So
That is.
Show
I was
him
just
your-
talking about how at the end of the season, the clothes that we wore, we had an opportunity to buy, and so of course, damn that stick.
That's the second time.
I got some Steven shirts for the bargain deal of $4 a shirt. You know,
He still
there
has
you
the
go.
tag on.
Still has.
there you go.
they haven't left the weird little closet they've been in ever since.
So you bought the ties. I think that's so
I
funny.
bought all the ties, you know.
That's so funny.
Yeah, because I think I had a navy blue suit, and then I think they gave me a black suit afterwards. So I only had like 2 suits.
Yeah, I definitely remember him in a dark. You were in anything that you had was dark.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think and a bunch of different shirts and ties, you know.
Did you sing in that episode?
I only sang in the musical one. That was the only.
Yeah, that's
episode
what I mean.
that
Like you sang in the musical, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Morning
And
announcements. Morning announcements he did.
Oh, that's right.
Right, that's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Baby, and worked my show dancing down the aisle.
Oh, such a good
Oh.
dancer. Now, I guess
Yeah.
people don't really know that you've got a theater background.
Yeah, I've done a few Broadway shows and stuff like that.
Wow,
So,
did not know that.
I didn't even know that. No.
Actually,
Yeah.
I mean, and since this is our guest, I mean, we're talking about maybe how you got Even Stevens, your audition experience and all that stuff. But I actually am curious, like, what Broadway shows did you do? How do I not know this?
my Broadway debut was probably before you guys were born, 1978. I did the musical. It's called Timbuktu, which is the all-black version of Kismet, and I played opposite Eartha Kitt. But that was my first Broadway show, and then I was in the original company Standing By and Ain't Misbehavin'. Also did The Wiz at the Amundsen. I did the national tour of that. Porgy and Bess. I did a lot of theater. For the first part of my career, I mainly was just doing theater.
Yeah, no big deal.
I started.
No
I
big.
started.
We had a lot of theater professionals on this show. That's really quite surprising.
Yeah.
We had quite a mix. I mean, we
Yeah.
had theater, then we had stand-up comics like Jim Weiss,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like it was.
Yeah.
We had some very talented folks. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there's me who can't
Audition
carry
process?
a tone to save their life.
You were literally 8 years old. Do you know that?
That's what.
baby.
Thank you. That's what I was gonna say. I was 2 years old when you did that first one in 1978.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
God.
2 years old.
So he was
But
alive.
Nick, I think, didn't we first meet on Sister Sister?
Sister Sister.
Wait a second.
I was the dialogue coach.
Yep.
On that
Yeah,
show.
you're right.
What?
You're right. Sister. That's funny. I recall us reliving this moment, but I forgot since then that even happened. You're right. Sister.
Yeah, I think,
Yo.
weren't you in Oga or something?
I was what?
wearing a toga in that episode?
Were you like in college? Were you a bad, mean college
No,
guy?
I honestly can't really remember everything about that episode.
He probably was in high school.
Yeah, no, I was definitely in high school. It was like I think I did 2 episodes of Sister Sister, and that was my like second or third gig in the business.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta see this. I never
I'm
knew
going to
about
see
this.
this.
Yeah, I've been around for a long time.
He has.
Moesha.
That's where we first met.
I worked with Usher on his first ever acting job on Moesha.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you pick up some dance moves from him? Can you show us something, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
We'll do that later on.
So you were the drama coach on Sister Sister too?
dialect
Coach. Sorry,
yeah.
I
didn't
feel
get
like
them
that's
any
one of the
acting. I just ran lines with
Yeah.
them, got them prepared before a camera.
Oh, I love them.
But if maybe some of the guest actors, if they needed a little help acting wise, or they didn't quite understand the delivery of the line, then I would, give them that. But usually the regulars and stuff like that, they knew what they were doing. I was just there to run lines just to get them comfortable.
Yeah.
Did you
on
end
the
up?
camera.
Did you end up acting in front of camera on the show?
Yeah, they gave me a couple little bit parts, just a couple little bit parts. I think I did 3 or 4 episodes. I had one-liners or something,
Yeah.
But for the most part, I was just there. But they were really nice about I could go and audition. And so I did a few commercials on the side and other stuff while I was working on the show. So they were very nice about that.
So was one of the auditions Even Stevens?
Actually, I never really auditioned for Even Stevens. Per se. What happened was, you remember when you guys had the table read at that hotel when the cast all got together, and it was a table read of the pilot. And I think the night before or 2 nights before, Tina Treadwell, who was, I think, she was in casting or something.
Yeah. No, Tina was like that.
She was head of talent at Disney at the time.
When we had pagers,
Yeah,
and my pager went off.
Oh my God.
And I didn't recognize the number, and I said, "Who's this?" So I called, and it was Tina, and Tina said, "Hey, George, you know what? We're doing a table read of this pilot, this new series. I think at the time it was called Spivey's Kid Brother or something."
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's what,
Yeah. And are you available to come in and read the part of the principal? So I said, "Oh, yeah, sure." She said, "Okay, well, it's tomorrow, if you can swing by my place, could you come get the script?" And so I went, "Oh, okay." I went by your place, got the script, went home, and in bed, I went, and I went, "Okay." And then I showed up.
I got this.
I showed up the day at the hotel, and that's where all the network and everybody was there, and the cast, people had gone through all the auditions. And I was like, I thought the part had already been cast, and that I was just there because the actor who was going to do it couldn't be there, so I was just filling in for the actor. And until Tina came up to me and she said, "George, the part has not been cast, so do well."
Tina.
I went,
She was such
Oh.
a
Wow,
good.
yeah, so you went back. You went back and read those lines one more time.
right. So I looked at the thing again, and then we did the table read, and 2 hours later they offered me the part of Principal Wexler.
Wow,
What a
man.
great story. I think that wins. As the funnest-
I wish that you got all jobs that way, because we were talking about how most of us went through, at least 3 to 5 auditions, and so much better to be in a room with a bunch of actors, reading the lines.
Such a safe space.
Yeah, and just kind of like having some fun with it and working off the chemistry. And getting the part that way. What
and all the decision makers were there in the room.
That was your
Yeah.
audition.
And so I guess they imprinted on me as the principal. And
Do you
that
know?
was it.
So did you know Tina from Sister Sister, or did you know? How did you know Tina?
Tina was, I had a mutual friend who was doing a one-woman show. She was going to be on stage, and I was going to be the voice of God. So I was going to be, off stage, so I would be talking to her, and it never went anywhere. But we had a rehearsal. But Tina was involved with that show.
Got it.
And from that show, she remembered me. For some reason, I popped in her mind for the principal.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
so that's how, so you just never know where
Yeah.
opportunity is going to present itself.
So Tina was one of the first people who represented the talent and the casting on the executive side for Disney Channel. And I feel like Tina, she ended up managing a lot of really talented people after she left Disney, but
Yeah.
she
became a manager.
Yeah. She's like fiercely, like she was a fierce advocate of
time.
young
Big
talent.
time.
And I
Yeah.
really loved her. She really tried to connect with me a lot in the beginning before she had to leave. So, I mean, we love you, Tina. And
Yeah.
that doesn't
Yes, we
surprise me.
do.
She must have been there by the
Always
time
appreciative of that job.
I
yeah.
auditioned, because I auditioned for Joey.
No, she
Well, no,
wasn't
was
casting.
casting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she was like that makes sense that she was like, I have the pull to bring him in here.
Right,
And then she probably, I bet you she was even like, I think I have a guy for this.
Yeah, she
feel like.
basically handled talent relations for Disney on anyone who was booked on the shows.
And it's
Yeah.
actually, may I speak to this? It's a very important job.
Oh yeah. Well, her and Matt Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm still great friends with Matt Jackson. Love
I
Matt.
love Matt. He
Jackson.
was my agent.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's a great guy.
Yeah, Matt Jackson was great.
Yeah, and him and Tina were very
but they both had a very warm presence about them. Very relaxed, made you relaxed.
Yes.
Yeah. So I miss Tina.
I know, I missed her too.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, sweet lady.
So, okay, so then what was your first impression of everybody here, I guess? Like, what did you think of? Were you like, oh, these kids are
I just thought
young?
everybody was just super. Everyone was super talented, and it was an easy gig. Everyone
Yeah.
was just so nice, and it wasn't stressful. I mean, I remember you and I, Christy, we bonded pretty quick because most of our scenes were together.
Yeah.
It was actually because I was kind of like you were like the straight man
Always.
to my, I was the big kid, actually.
Yeah.
And it's
loved our
interesting because
relationship.
originally the principal, when we first started out, he was just kind of this generic kind of principal. He wasn't really all that funny. But then when they brought in
Dennis and Mark. Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis and Mark. Then they kind of switched him up, and then they had me to go over the top, with as the principal. No, it was fun. I mean, it was the permission because I kept asking, "You sure you want me to go that big?" Because I am from the theater, and I can get pretty big, but they were fine with it. And I think my breakout show when I really kind of started showing the comedic side was when Ren gets a C. That episode, you get a C in the wood class. You
In
you
shop
make a
class.
pizza paddle or something.
Uh-huh.
A pizza.
Pizza paddle,
and it was
yeah.
just- you get a C, and I was just heartbroken because I think you get a turkey or a ham or something, and you always give me the ham or something. I was devastated when you got that C.
You were the kind of principal that every kid wished they actually had.
100%.
Yeah,
Totally.
that was the character.
I think so, man.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I was absolutely in love with you and your character.
Yeah.
Like, they were one and the same for me. And it was such a pleasure working with you in our scenes together. And I know everybody else on the cast and loved your presence on set. Like, I could feel like when you were on set, it was just such a joy.
There's just such a
We
warmth
had
about you, George, that just radiates whenever we look at you, man.
Yeah.
And just your whole
I know.
aura.
How do you not like George?
It's just you.
I lucked out, man.
Yeah.
I really lucked out.
Is there any moment that stands out to you from those years on the show that really is like I don't know one of your favorite memories or?
Gosh, I was just always happy whenever I got to work and and they gave me nice little moments. I mean, the musical certainly was fun because I got a chance to dip into my real world, my
Yeah.
real house.
Yeah.
And so that was fun. And in fact, what I really loved about it, I remember after we finished shooting that scene, the crew started applauding me, and they kept applauding after the number.
Yeah.
And so that was really a sweet memory. And then also, I think I was probably the last person to rap on the show because
Wow.
being the adult. They could keep me longer hours
Yeah.
than you guys, because you were younger, you had to be released.
Yeah.
But I think I was one of the last people to we would have a series finale wrap, and the crew just gave me a standing ovation, and they kept applauding, and I got all kind of choked up over it. Yeah. But that was a memory that I won't forget. But yeah, everyone was just great. It was just such a wonderful set. It was just all my memories are just great.
Yeah,
That's
same.
Yeah.
What has your world been like? I mean, obviously you're still an actor. We know you're still out there hustling and grinding, doing the auditions.
It helps that you look the same.
Yeah, you have experienced a transition in this business that, I mean, it's definitely something I haven't experienced. We've gone from in-person auditions to now where almost everything is done on self-tape. What has your world been like in the past 20 years, man, since Even Stevens?
It's been interesting. Well, I had the luck of being able to work both in front of and behind the camera. I was the dialogue coach on the Gilmore Girls.
That's right.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
So they brought me in the third season because they kept hiring the script supervisor because they wanted the dialogue word perfect. I mean, and really and the scripts were really, really thick. I mean, our scripts were maybe 15, 20 pages longer than regular scripts. And then the actors spoke at a very rapid speed.
Yeah, Gilmore Girls was very fast-paced,
Wow.
very wordy.
Right, and it had to be word perfect. I mean, no adding an "and" and an
Not like Even Stevens.
Exactly as written. And so after them, I think going through the fourth script supervisor in the third episode in the third season, they finally decided, well, maybe it's too much for the script supervisor to do all what they have to do and be on top of the dialogue.
Yeah.
So we need to bring in someone just to work with the actors on the dialogue and and to run lines. And so and it turned out a good friend of mine was the first AD on the show, and so she said, I have just the person. I interviewed first with Amy and one of the producers, and then I think they whittled it down to 4 of us, and then we all met with Lauren Graham, who was the lead.
Love her.
And so Lauren selected me, and then I was the one and only dialogue coach until the series ended, and then I ended up having an assistant come in. Carla's daughter actually came in and would work Fridays because I was, after a while, working 14, 16-hour days, and I'm no spring chicken. In fact, this August, I will be celebrating my 50th year as a professional actor in the industry.
Wow.
So no spring chicken. But it was great. And then when they did the reboot for Gilmore Girls, I remember Amy, the executive producer, said to me, she said, when she spoke to Lauren, she says, one of the first things Lauren said is, are you going to get George? And so she said, oh, absolutely. So they brought me back, and I did the reboot, and they gave me, parts. I had to recurring as Rory's, Alexis, her professor at Yale. I was Professor Bell. And
how about that?
Right.
Someone's typecast.
Right. So I did a couple of other little bit parts, but that was a fun show, and it was great because I got to be both, work in front of the camera as an actor, and part of the crew, and so which was great for me because it helped me get that pension.
Yes, sir.
I got vested and all that.
Get
other
that
stuff
health care and
those.
that pension. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So,
What union is
great.
if you're doing not script supervising, but if you're doing a dialect work or dialogue work, what union is that? Is that in a union?
There's no union.
There is
no
okay.
union. I would imagine if they ever made that a union job, it would probably be in the union the script supervisor would be in. But it's non-union, and I was smart enough to negotiate that they pay me. They put me on a voucher like I was an extra, but with a really nice sum of money per day.
Because
and so that went toward my pension and where I could collect unemployment.
Yeah.
And, all the other things. So it worked out in my favor in the long run.
Did you ever
Yeah, it
want
was
to
great.
direct or anything else? Because I know a lot of people in the drama, I want to say dramaturg, but it's not that. It's the drama coach. No, the dialogue coach. I don't know why I keep inverting that. But that person usually goes in line of becoming a director, at least with Disney. When I shadowed, they like to hire in-house.
Right. I think had I been on a show long enough, I mean, yeah, Gilmore Girls, I was there, but I was always placed near where the actors would be in earshot of me. So if they were doing a scene in the living room or something, I might be on the false staircase, sitting there. So I wasn't in Video Village where I could have privy to see
Sure.
all the angles and learn all the technical stuff. I mean, it crossed my mind. And I think if I had a do-over, I probably would have tried to move into that. That would have been a nice thing to do. But as I said right now, I'm kind of like I'm kind of part-time now, seeing retirement somewhere down the way. But, I'm still just dabbling a little bit. Yeah. And, I got an audition on Monday for something, a return on some show. Robin is my manager.
Oh, yeah.
Robin
Robin McWilliams.
What?
She's been a manager
Yes.
for a long time. Yeah.
Wait, manager for like crew?
No,
Or for
she's
actors?
because she was an actress or something and a model and stuff. And then I think after she left our show, because we got Troy, a hairstylist.
Troy Zestos.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
And so that's cool. She's great. We might see her tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully.
That happened actually at the Formosa when we had the last reunion.
What?
Because we were talking, and then she said, "So what are you up to?" I said, "Well, nothing right now. I'm not." She said, "What? You have an agent?" I didn't have an agent or anyone at the time. I was just kind of like between agents.
Wait, so I'm partly responsible?
There you go.
All right.
And so
I want 10%, man. No,
and so she said, "Well, I'm a manager now. Would you be interested?" I said, "Sure, why not?"
That's cool.
I signed on with her, and I've been with her ever since.
Wow.
So it's interesting because like we talk about this a lot on the podcast about the environment, the relationships that have kind of like evolved and stayed with us past even Stevens, past the filming of the show. And you've been in this business for 50 years. Was it a unique experience for you, a unique time for you? Because like you're working with the people that you met on the show. We're here with you right now. We do reunions. Is this common for you in a lot of the work you've done over the years?
I've been blessed and lucky that I'm still in the business, still doing it, still can memorize lines, although that's getting harder.
Yeah.
But, different jobs have different situations. Certainly, even Stevens I would put there in the top 3 jobs I had. Because the whole experience was so pleasant. It was just really nice. I enjoyed the character. That's in the television and film world. Theater's a different thing.
Yeah.
But definitely in film and TV, even Stevens is right up there with one of my most wonderful experiences. And
top 3.
and it's always
top 3.
It's great to
top
run
3.
into people. It's like you pick up where you left off because you have this wonderful connection. So you run into people at auditions. That happens to me in Gilmore Girls because I worked with so many people.
I bet.
George, I got a question for you. So if you had any advice to any actors just starting out, what would it be? You've been doing this for so long. What would be your advice?
Be prepared. Be ready for when opportunity presents itself.
Yeah.
I was ready, I guess, when even Stevens presented itself for me. I studied, I took acting class. I majored in theater in college. And I took my craft seriously, and I also tried to be as professional as possible. So that when you do get those jobs, you want to be as professional on set. So because you never know where the next job opportunity is going to present itself, and who can be in that position to want to hire you. I know with some of the younger actors on Gilmore Girls, when I was coaching them. One of the actors who remain nameless, but he's gone on to do really great things. But at the time, he was a little kind of full of himself, and he was giving me kind of a hard time because he didn't want to do the lines word perfect. He was like, "Well, why should I have to do it?" And I said, "Because you took the job." And I said, "Because that's what the job calls for." And I said, as you continue in the business, you'll find there'll be jobs where they will encourage you to improv in the dialogue, that you don't have to say the lines as written. I said, and then there will be those times that you get a job where they want it exactly as written. So I said, when you accept the job as a professional, that's what you have to do. And I was happy to see later on he was being interviewed for something, and he referred to that moment.
Really?
When he said, when I was on Gilmore Girls, I was immature and young, and and I didn't realize, and why they were so hard about the dialogue, and he said, but now I know and I understand.
Yeah.
So
it seems to me like so much of you is there's such a mentor in you, and I know I personally felt that with the way that you were just always so giving in the scenes that we had together, and like you said, you were so professional every single time. I mean, you never missed a mark. Ever. Did you ever? I think you broke a couple times, but it was very rare. Very rare.
They tried to get me. One time, Shia kissed me on the cheek, trying to get me to break. I did not break.
You didn't break.
So I said, no, stinker. You're not gonna get me.
Oh man, what a great guy.
It was pretty hard to get me. I tried to focus laser because if I break, that's it.
Yeah,
it takes me a while to get it back. So
I love those moments though.
But,
I love when actors break and you kind of
it really is. I mean, it's fun. When it happens, but sometimes you kind of, especially by my theater training. Yep. It's like you don't want to break on theater because sometimes your mind will leave you and it's well, what's the line? You
go on autopilot on
You know what's one of my my favorite things about theater? I did very little, but one of the things I always loved about theater is when shit didn't go right. When things went wrong and you're on stage and you have absolutely no choice but to somehow make it work.
You got to make it work.
It's
There's
wild.
no lifeline.
No, it's a wild experience because for you as the actor, you're really, really in the moment now. You're really thinking through it. And I'll never forget I was doing, I forget what play it was. There was a door that was supposed to open that didn't open. But it was necessary. It was necessary for that door to open to lead the next line.
Okay.
And it was like, I can't recall how we went forward with it, but the actress was sitting on stage on the bed waiting for this thing to happen, and it never happened. And we had to kind of like look at each other and indicate with our eyes, all right, it's us, just us right now. Did you ever have anything like that where you were?
Oh God, I did Cats here in LA when we had the Schubert Theater. Before that was torn down in Century City. Yeah. And I was Old Deuteronomy, the wise old cat. And at the end of the show, the tire goes up, and you're kind of like this godlike Yoda, Jesus, Santa Claus kind of a character. And,
type of cat,
you do it night after night after night, but once in a blue moon, the mind, it clicks off, and suddenly you're like, what are the words to this song? And so I'm in the middle of the song, singing the song, and then all of a sudden it's like, and I'm having to make up some lyrics.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, make them up.
You're just trying to, and I'm just.
It is awkward as hell.
I can still do the melody, but the words. And of course, and all of the guys, the actors, they're down looking up at me like cats, looking at, and then they're back
like
to
this?
the audience. They're looking at me and they're going,
no. They're punking you on set, yeah.
And I'm like,
Or on
my
stage.
eyes are like this because I'm like, oh my
Like moon
God.
pies.
Oh my gosh.
But it was just like for a phrase or two, and then it came back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you know, I'm sure it happened. You did it in Beauty and the Beast. Did it ever? Did you ever?
God. Are you kidding me? Do you even want me to go down that road?
Yeah.
I did hear.
You do?
Yeah.
Are we talking about theater?
Come on, I want to hear it.
Okay, theater stories are so fun. They're like war stories when you really do realize.
Absolutely,
I think that's what I loved about working with you too, is because it did feel like there was like a theater connection that he and I had, which I think maybe they knew that there would be sort of a good chemistry with us. And I think theater people, primarily theater people, they have an approach to things, and like we really worked well off of each other. I just know that.
we did.
I know that. It was like Coach Tugnut and you. Like you guys worked off well together too. And so I don't know what the chemistry was, but in terms of theater stories, okay, I have a funny one. So with Beauty and the Beast, there was a beautiful scene when Belle tries to leave and he's like, I'm going to let you go. And they're in the garden and she wants to see her dad. So he gives her the mirror. And when she looks at the mirror, it's her dad and he's like hurt and he's dying or something. She's like, I have to leave. And he's like, okay. And it's like a sacrifice, right? And that's how he knows he really loves her. His fucking eyebrow popped off. And I had to do this entire emotional scene with the guy's bald patch on his face.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay? And I was like trying so hard
Oh,
to
wow.
like, and then I just tried to cry and I just tried to pretend like I was crying. I was like, I gotta go. And it was like, it was hilarious.
that's
hilarious.
That's the worst. It's the worst. Oh,
And we were in it together because
But
that's
that's
he had a
what's
whole
so
solo
wild.
after I left that stage, you know. So yeah,
I hope there's video of that. I want to see that so
I
bad.
wish there's not.
Oh, it's like you're dying on stage and you just never know. This one guy, he had this big number in Cats called the Peaks and the Pollicles, and it was like a patter song where you and if you mess up, if you miss a word, you're screwed. And I had to, you know, I'm sitting there all benevolent, just like, you know, because they're kind of making fun of dogs. And so but his mind, he lost the lyric and he just and he couldn't get back in there. And literally he was going, he was doing gibberish. And again, all of the other cats, they were like in deep Martha Graham contractions. Laughing so hard. And then when he leaves the stage, then everyone looks to me and I have this line that I have to sing out, and I was like, I was laughing so hard, and I couldn't get the line out.
Wow.
and it was just like I had to talk it.
Oh my
I
God.
couldn't sing it. It was just.
It was like not
But, you know,
coming
but that's the beauty of theater. You just never know.
Yep.
No, and I think that the audience oftentimes doesn't ever catch that.
Yeah, that's true.
No.
And when they do catch it, I actually think that they appreciate
love it. They
Yeah,
love
because
it,
that's
yeah.
why you go to
No,
theater.
it's fun. It's like a little inside joke.
Yeah, you go to theater to
So-
see those things happen, and you almost kind of marvel in the fact that the actors can.
Live theater.
Yeah, they could.
It's live theater,
they can
everybody.
Survive it, man.
I really want to
what it
work with
is.
you again, George. I just love you so much. And I can see why everyone loves him.
Oh,
I mean, he's
yeah.
just such a bright light. And we all obviously have impacted all of our lives. I know we primarily had our scenes together, but it just is so fun to see how happy you guys are to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to work together much, but I love that we have history even before even Stevens, and that we're still here now. So.
Would you come back for a reboot?
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah, absolutely. In a second.
If you did,
In a second,
what role
you
would
know.
you want to? What role would you want to play now? What would Wexler's?
Other than Principal Wexler?
Yeah, I mean, well, because Wexler's got to grow up and change too, like the rest
Like
of us.
he's saying, where would Wexler be
Yeah,
now?
what would Wexler be doing now if you came back?
Well, Wexler, he would be superintendent.
In Sacramento. We were in Sacramento.
That's right, we were in
Right,
Sacramento. Yeah.
Right, in Sacramento. He'd be superintendent of the school district there, having to deal with all of the red tape and everything and the different personalities and the politicians that you have to deal with and trying to schmooze with everyone. But yeah, he probably would be doing that and oversee the different schools, visiting the different schools. So
Aw.
yeah, that's probably what Wexler would be doing.
I love that. I do love that.
That or a wellness coach at a yogi compound somewhere. I don't know why. I could see you in a big like yogi gown, and this is teaching us how to meditate through our problems.
Yeah, I moved to a whole other world.
That's right, man. You're done teaching these kids.
Yeah, they stress you out.
I did want to know, George, what was your favorite episode to work on?
Gosh. Was it the lumberjack one? There was what did I do in that lumberjack? Were we having pancakes? They were eating a lot of pancakes.
I think I remember that one.
This was before me, but I saw this one.
Really?
Yeah.
When'd you see it?
Oh, God. Probably in my Disney Plus rewatch.
Okay.
Was that the one when I get the new car? I got a new car, and then the tree falls on the car. You know, because I parked my car there. I don't know if it was Larry Bill and.
Right.
He was taking over for you, Christy. He was my assistant because we were battling.
Was it called Dirty Work? Was it called Dirty Work? I think that's what it was. You got a car, but it was
got a car,
but it was bad.
And
you got it through bad.
We had a falling out, and so I had Larry Bill try to take over your position, and it just failed.
Yeah, we had a
miserably.
falling out. And Larry Beal was taking over my job. And
I had a brand new car.
Yep, he starts a lumberjack club.
Oh my God.
Right.
Lewis does with his friends. They start a lumberjack club because all they want to do is eat pancakes.
I remember this one.
And then
yeah, that was a really fun show, and also the one where you get to see, because that was the one where I finally got a chance to really be funny,
strut your stuff.
And Sean was directing it, and so Sean just let me
always great.
do whatever. It's like, okay, genius.
Genius.
Yep.
All right, so that was great. I mean, I'd love to do another Disney series. At this stage, that would be fun.
they would be lucky to have him as a dialogue coach to the kids.
Director. I could see
director.
Or on a show again, George, because you're a genius.
You are
a genius.
Well, thank you so much for coming on our podcast. This has been wild.
Yeah,
great
my
having pleasure.
You.
We miss you. Give you hugs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, great.
Hug.
Big hugs to all
Big
of you
hugs.
guys. I love you dearly.
Thank you, George.
Bring
Love
your
you,
tie
brother.
collection.
We'll get to see each other. Yeah. Hey, and if there's ever a reboot, count me in.
It's down. We got it.
So.
All right, guys.
Okay. Thank you, fans, for being such loyal fans of the show.
Well, another great episode.
Yes.
See you guys next week.
Absolutely.
All right.
We'll be back.
We'll have even more Stevens.
Bye.
Hey guys, hope that you enjoyed this episode. Want more of us in your life? Join our Patreon for exclusive weekly bonus content.
Don't miss out. Join our Patreon now.